Countess Full Moon Trilogy is the first book in the Eastern Faraway Adventures by Midnight Tower. Hello and welcome to Midnight Tower's new epic Kickstarter. This time the journey will take us to
Buckbridge, a small isolated village surrounded by deep forest, where wilderness adventures, frost wolves and ancient woven secrets await.
Are you the heroes who will find Queen Freya Swiftsteel's long-lost jewel?
Join the Kickstarter!
Okay, join the Kickstarter! Once more together, join the Kickstarter!
Hello, we are here. This it's gone funny. No, it hasn't. We are here. I'm sure we are. It's Dave here, Banded Badgers. How are you all doing? Now, in this session, we are doing a live Q&A with the creators TOVE and ERIK Jorgensen behind Midnight Tower. How are you doing? You're in
Great.
Yeah.
You're in separate locations. Normally when we've talked to you on chat and when we interview and stuff. So TOVE, there's a line on your wall behind you. It's kind of because you've got one wall that stands out, and that's always usually in between the two of you. So normally there's a line going between you anyway, but right now there's another line going between you because you're in two separate locations. Well done. We're always having a line between. Well done. And joining us this time is not Steve. It's Steve 2.0, 3.0. Hi.
4.0 by now.
4.0 by now, yeah, I think it is. How you doing, Ian?
I'm really good, thank you. How is everybody else?
Yeah, really good, yeah.
I'm really good. Thank you for asking. You know, I rarely get asked. I'm all the one talking.
That's all asked, Dave. How are you?
Yeah.
How was your day?
I was in the garden today and it started raining, but we're in the UK. We're kind of used to the rain, so that's fine. Right, we got some people in chat. Maverick 2, thank you very much for subscribing. 14 months. Woohoo! K Rowe, oh hi Badgers. Yeah, we're here. We did upgrade Steve. Yes, Maverick, we did upgrade Steve. Right, anyway, chat is going on. If you have questions, because we're going to be talking about the latest Kickstarter for Midnight Tower, the latest book, and I say the latest book, but we're kind of going back to the very beginning. You're, for the first time in print in a collected edition, you're going back to the very first chapter.
Yes.
So over to you. Tell us about the new book. The new old refreshed book.
Yeah, the new old book.
The new old book.
So we wrote the adventures first and released them as PDFs.
Yep.
And then later on we started to do Kickstarters and started to just learn how to actually print and publish a book. And yeah, well, see, we were sort of just doing our work and writing books and publishing them, and no one seems to mind until people started asking sort of like, what about these old ones? And we're like, yeah, apparently our tiny little small adventures turning into sort of like a campaign.
Yeah.
So now we're going back to actually make sure that the book is in a physical, like a really book, not just a PDF. Nothing wrong with PDFs, but it's nice to go back, and we did that with the other book also, Secrets of the Drow. So you get a possibility as a writer to go back and go like, oh yeah, there's a couple of mistakes that I'm just gonna make sure that they don't exist anymore. And then you can expand on the story. So that's one of the reasons we're going back, and actually people have sort of, there'll be no threats, but a lot of questions in a slightly intimidating way. When are you going to release the first books in print? And it's like, that's a good question. Let's do that. So
It is.
That's what we do.
It is. I mean, it also you mentioned it gives you a chance to reflect on some of the writing, to change up some of the artwork, to tidy up those bits you weren't kind of happy on, but also you're adding in some additional content as well. You've got 2 editions. You've got your regular edition and the collector's edition. And for those of you who are watching live, if you have any questions, do shout them out into live chat. Thank you very much. For those of you who are watching, whether you're watching live or not live, the artwork that's on the right hand side of the screen, we've got a collection of photos because their books are available in some of the shops. We've got pictures and inlays of some of the mock-ups from the double-page spreads. We've got some fantastic landscape shots. Now these are going to be they're used inside the books, and there's also a 3D mock-up of the book cover itself, which is going to be the Hunter's Moon trilogy. Is that right? Did I say it right? Hunter's Full Moon trilogy. That's it. I knew I was missing a word there. The Hunter's Full Moon trilogy. So, what's the elevator pitch for the story?
Go, Eric.
The elevator pitch. Good question. Will you be able to defend the remote and isolated village of Buckwild and at the same time delve into ancient mysteries left behind by an old dwarven clan? That was a very long elevator pitch, but there you go.
It's one of those things. So those of you who don't know the Midnight Tower stuff, the idea is you've got this party who can go on an adventure that takes them out of the same town. So if you've started on things like Mines of Fandelver, it's all located in the same kind of area. You don't often get to travel that far. In this one, you do the first chapter, and the guy what was his name? I've lost his name.
Bjorn Amberclan.
There you go. Amberclan. I was nearly right. Born Amberclan. He's the kind of guy who sets you on the path. By the time you come back, he's gone. He kind of like, you find this dwarven treasure, and he goes, oh, I know what that is. I'm off. He doesn't take you with him. And you kind of, but you kind of follow a few days later and then catch up with him. So I love the idea of we've got this fantastic map as well. This is called the Eastern Faraway, and there's other stuff in there as well, which is I won't say connected to me, but when I looked at it, it was very, very familiar. There's a town called Hammersong, and this goes. And again, we've mentioned this on different streams, different interviews. My World of Warcraft character, my dwarf, was called Hammersong, and I was like, oh wow! And there's so many bits and pieces in here, but you get to explore more of the map. You go to different locations through the whole series of the books. What's the inspiration behind these particular stories? Where did you get the idea? Is this your homebrew campaign in a written way, or did the writing come first and then the homebrew and then the game?
So the world and the map is pretty much homebrew, and that's the same world that we've been playing in for, I don't know, 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've always been the one sort of writing the map, like where are we and why are we never getting to Waterdeep?
Yeah.
You know, so so things like that. That's why I started. I was like, okay, you said it was 3 weeks to we must have, you know, eventually we will get there. But everyone who was a DM were like, oh, I'm not gonna play that because then I have to actually read up about Waterdeep. So we never actually made it to Waterdeep. But that's how the map started. So we had this big part of the world where we started mapping things, and because we had a different DM, so we rotated quite a lot. So it was just nice to know where are we and where are we going. So we had part of the map. Then we lost that map when we moved to Australia and started a new map. So that's why we've kind of lost Northern Faraway, but we found the map later, many years later. So the map is a sort of backbone to the whole story, and then these stories is pretty much me writing stuff. Most of the things I've played together with our friends and play tested, and yeah, that's about it.
That's really cool. That's very, very cool that it started with this kind of like map making.
Yeah, that's how it started. So, and everyone was sort of like, where are you from? I'm from, you know, then random name, Grimsby. That sounds cool. Let's put that on the map. And so it's a combination of, you know, random Tolkien, British names, some Swedish names, just tossed into this like kitchen soup universe, or, well, realm, really. And that's how it started. So...
Wow. So these books, obviously, you said they start in Buckbridge, and this is part of Faraway, and these go back to your first books. And as someone who, unlike Dave, I'm coming quite new to this Kickstarter, and so this is quite fun for me to like come back to like this revised issue with something that I know nothing about. So I love world building. That's part of my favorite thing of being a DM, and I love as a player exploring other people's worlds. So how big is Faraway, and like how many regions are there?
Look, that's how big.
So is like Buckbridge like one tiny little bit like Vandelver, or is there like you said like you lost the map to the north? Like how many regions are there? How big's the world?
Well, the world is bigger than the Faraway. The whole region was once like an empire or a really huge kingdom, but it got divided into 5 different areas. So we are currently in Eastern Faraway. There is also Western Faraway, where our group has been playing quite a lot. And we lost the map for Northern Faraway. We've never really been to the Southern Faraway, more than a couple of times. And then we have the Outer Islands. But I know that there is more because there is traveling and trade going on to other areas outside of these areas. But I don't actually know that much about that.
So is Faraway one continent then, or is it like a multitude of continents?
It's not really. It's not a full continent. I wouldn't call it a continent because the Northern Faraway is expanding to the north. So you do have this sort of like northern hemisphere where it gets cold up to. But then you have mountains, so it's not really sure that you're reaching like a North Pole or if it's just getting really, really cold up there. And the southern part, I'm not entirely sure of how that is expanding, or if it's more like a, and then it will connect to something else. I'm not entirely sure. So, but for these books that we've written so far, which is 6 books, they're all set in Eastern Faraway.
That's really cool. So it's kind of like if you took Faerun and the Sword Coast, it's kind of like, you know, you've got that expansion of like this entire landmass that you guys can then build different areas of the world and go, you know what, actually now we want this kind of implement, so we're going to build this entire continent, or we're going to build this area. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's also how the world is kind of changing a little bit. So in even within Eastern Faraway, the southern part is more like forest, more elven. We have the Silverwoods lands down there as well. And then the northern part is getting colder. You have more mountains, and you also have a stronger sort of North Scandi influence as well. So it changes with the names and also what people are calling each other. So they have different last names in the northern part of Eastern Faraway than in the southern.
That's really amazing. Go that deep and that into the lore of something.
But that's just me sort of being incredibly nerdy about it. And then ERIK would write something. I was like, that's wrong. What are you doing? so yeah, that's me.
So one of the things you've got going on, again, with the new book, Going Back to the Past, is redoing the artwork as well. It's a chance for you to introduce new artwork and do artwork. Do you want to give a quick shout out to your artists that you're using?
Yes, ERIK, go.
I can definitely do that. So we are working with Elena Milari, who is drawing the NPC portraits, and she's also very recently finished the cover for the book.
Cool.
Which looks amazing. Truly amazing.
And that's just to be clear, because we do have a 3D render of the cover coming up in our kind of cycle of images, but that's just a holding image for now, isn't it? That's not the finished cover.
Yes,
that is true.
But if you are a fan of that artwork, I'm a fan of that artwork.
Beautiful.
Don't worry, it's going to be a double-page spread in the book. So we are using it. It's just when we set up the Kickstarter, the cover for the book wasn't finished, so we sort of had that instead. So that's it. And then now when we have actually money and the project is funded, we can just toss it to our artists, and they will give us beautiful cover and art. So that's good.
there's a lot of bits and pieces going on in that. The artwork in is it the same artist who worked on this one?
Yes.
So this was the most recent that's Kickstarter, which is out now. And just to kind of give everyone a flavour, if I can find their page, it is stunning double page spread artwork that is absolutely beautiful. And we have 2 other similar kind of these landscape double pages up on the left hand side of the screen. And what I like to see is you have this kind of collection of heroes, and
Yes.
it's in the other two as well. So you've got
Yes.
one which is kind of like in the Underdark, and the current one which is on the holding image of this town. Oh, I guess it's Buckbridge, and you've got the lights. Is either the rising sun or the setting sun in the distance. It is beautiful, stunning, fantastic artwork.
Yeah, it's the same sort of like mysterious creatures adventures that we had in the first PDF in 2019. And then later, when we're sort of like, oh, a real artist is going to do our work, he's definitely have to write this and draw this as well. So he included those characters, and they're sort of showing up every now and then. I don't know really who they are. There are 4 of them. And I think one of them is some sort of wizard or druid or something. He has a staff.
Yep.
So, but yeah, they show up every now and then. It's like cameos, but we don't know who they are. But it could be you.
That's the beauty and mystery of artwork in campaign books. I mean, I absolutely loved, if we take things like the D&D Wizards and we take Waterdeep, I know that there's like the 3 kids that are in that you basically can get information out of in the seasons. And I love that like each season and each bit of the book has those 3 kids as part of the artwork, be it like the shadows coming from like the Shadow of the Beholder of Xanathar behind them, or like them running around. So I really like stuff like that follows through, and I enjoyed it with the Paizo Starfinder books as well, when you had the pre-gen characters and it followed them through. But the idea of the mystery of you having these unknown adventurers that seem to show their way through these stories that you've written in this world, that's really cool. It's a nice little touch, and it's just I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I really like it, and I like it as sort of like, who are them? And then you sort of like, well, that could be me, it could be my you don't know. It's the same thing with old books where you go, you don't know who the hero on the book is, you just get to see the back, and then they're fighting some sort of monster. So yeah, that's the general idea.
And those sparks of creation that things like that can create, that's what this whole industry is about. That's what this whole kind of playing at the tabletop and like creating characters. You could be like, some people can make characters like that and just smash them out one after the other and go, oh, now I want to play this, now I want to play that, now I want to play this. Other people struggle, and sometimes it takes seeing an image or seeing or hearing something to be like, oh, I'm going to play something like this. And I think little things like that in the books that you're doing is awesome. That's amazing that like the artist is like almost going to be giving people these like creative ideas for their own stories that are going to happen in your world.
Yeah, no, I like it. That's what...
So one of the things, in addition, you did it with the last few Kickstarters, is this collector's edition, and we've talked about that briefly at the beginning. But what can people expect in the collector's edition?
They can expect, except for the hardcover of the book, which is numbered and signed by yours truly. There is also a custom-made leather book, which is a recurring thing, which is going to look unusually wonderful this time, I think. There is going to be a custom leather pencil case, that's the word I was looking for, which you can unfold into something that is akin to a dice tray. You can keep your dice in there or your pencil or both.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
There is a set of very, very pretty dice, which I am quite jealous of, which I like myself, but I can't have them.
Can't you get some?
They're real gemstones.
Yes.
Moons.
Can't you get just a few extra copies and just, oh look, those ones aren't quite as good. They'll be mine.
But I mustn't. There's a poster. And what have I forgotten? Toby, help me.
You've forgotten the encounter cards and the alternative cover.
Wow.
Yes. So backers of the collector's edition get to choose between the regular cover and a sort of special cover, which is reserved for the collector's edition.
Wow.
And we're going to print the character sheets, because we just unlocked that stretch goal as well, so they get that as well.
Fantastic.
Questions. I was going to say, so how much is the Kickstarter pledge for the collector's edition? But then also, that now ties into my question of, do you have pre-gen characters, or is this you go it on your own, or is it like a bit of both?
No pre-generated characters for this one. You get character sheets, which are hand-drawn from start to finish, except for maybe fonts going onto the actual fields, just for this adventure, and they will be themed around the entire set of the whole story arc, the whole storyline. So if you choose to sort of continue through, well, all of the adventures that are linked, starting with this one, you don't have to. But if you do, you may find things on the character sheets which sort of connected to the adventures as you go along.
Like little Easter eggs for what's coming up, or for like little things hidden in the background.
Yes,
Could be.
exactly. So small things like that. So
Yes.
yes, so this is so self-bragging here. I'm so sorry. So
This is what this whole show is about. So self-bragging is good.
yeah, I apologize. But anyway, so the next book is Secrets of the Drow, and then we have the Rise of the Ice Dragons, and then Prophecy of Nine Omens. So that's how far we have come, and they're all trilogies. So you can play them. You can play one book and then say, "No, finished," or you can continue the whole story, and it's kind of linked. And Bjorn Ambercan will come with you through all of the adventures. So he's a reoccurring character while you're traveling around in Eastern Faraway.
So that also answers another question that I had for you, which was obviously coming to this campaign as somebody new to kind of Midnight Tower. Is this particular campaign that you're now running with Kickstarter the best place to start, or is it a case that you can jump in on any of them, or should you really start here and then work your way through the books?
You can do both, well, not at the same time, but you can do either. So you can either start, and each sort of trilogy has a sort of like, if you haven't played the previous trilogy, then you kind of just sort of tie in, and then you can continue. So if you have a character who is level 3, you can continue with Secrets of the Drow, and so on. This is a good place to start, obviously, because it's a level 1 to 3 adventure. And it's the same thing with the murder mysteries that we have as well. You can tie them in, or you can just go, murder mystery, not my thing, and then continue with the main story. So, yeah.
Really well thought out. That's really good.
One of the things I wanted to bring up is, so audience, you're very shy this evening, so do shout out any questions you may have for our creators, because there's a very good reason for it. So we've mentioned the collector's edition, and you mentioned the dice. Now, Midnight Tower have one set of these dice to give away, and they're going to give them away to someone in the audience, but it's not going to be a random pick. It's for the person who provides the best question of the evening. Now, so far.
So the only question right now is, have you upgraded Steve?
Maverick 2, yes, one whole set. But I'm gonna go one better. I'm gonna show you what they look like. So have a look at this. You can still hear us, but have a look at those gorgeous looking dice. That now the Tove and ERIK and Ian can't see this. I've just filled the screen with dice at the moment, but you can see, and they actually have these little gold or silver embedded wolves inside them. They are absolutely gorgeous. So if you want a set of those, you just have to provide the best question of the evening. Otherwise, it's going to go to me or Ian automatically by default. We'll have to. That is true. Yeah, you asked the best question. You will get some. Yes, Maverick 2. They are wolves. It's the Hunter's Full Moon Trilogy. There is a slight hint there of what the story is about. We've got some wolf. You see some wolf artwork as well. So do go and check that out. Now, of course, coming back to the collector's edition and what Ian was saying about the stretch goals. How many have we? We've already unlocked 4 at the moment. 5. The Kickstarter started on Tuesday. It's running until how many? Is it 30 days?
It's a 30-day, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And you already hit goal and target, didn't you?
Yeah, no, we just.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, I'm gonna plan the stretch goals. And they're sort of like, I don't have time to update. I'm like, what are you doing with my stretch goals? Can I be upset about this? No, but so I think we've unlocked 5 stretch goals, is it, Derek?
5. I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So and yeah, since Tuesday.
What's next? What's the next target, and what's the next unlock? What are fans gonna get?
Well, we are. We've done. Let's see what we've done. We'll start that. We've done the wilderness traps.
Yeah.
So that's going to be added to the compendium. We've done woodland spells.
Yeah.
We have you can vote for the backer's choice. I think at the moment, like Ancient Dwarven Law and Puzzle and Riddles are neck to neck.
Puzzles and riddles, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of them. And we just unlocked character sheets. So I think the next one is Druid's Herbarium or something like that. And I think I called it that in the end, because herbs and herbariums didn't really sound right. So Druid's Herbarium.
It's a nice way to put it in, yeah.
I'm a big fan of stretch goals and Kickstarters, and I think I know that Dave does backs a lot of Kickstarters, and I do as well. I think one of the funnest things as a backer is that, like, you know the product that you're backing because you've obviously read the page and you know that you're like, oh, I really want X, Y, and Z because that's why I'm coming here. And then you see the stretch goals and you're like, and then when you open the box and you get those stretch goals, that's an amazing thing. But what I really like with D&D campaigns and with module books is a lot of those stretch goals is more information and more pages in a book, which is more tools to our arsenal for world building or for telling a story, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I really love having this backer choices and do polls, because I'm like, I know they're going to choose magical weapon, and the backers are like, nope, more lore. I'm like, really? More lore? Are you sure? I can write that. So it's really it's quite fun, and also like puzzle and riddles was something that someone suggested. It's like, let's bring that on board, and it's now leading the poll, I think. So it's a nice way for backers to sort of influence the content, and yeah, it's a good way for us as well. We're like, okay, I can write that, you know, who cares about crafting? Apparently no one. So
I think
except the poor people who voted for crafting and for that, I'm sorry.
Well, I think after you.
We got it wrong every time when we try to figure out what we think is going to be the favorite. Every time we put up the poll, we think, yeah, probably that one. Every single time we get it wrong. We really learned a lesson with the first one, because we thought, what if anyone's going to vote? There was so many people who went there right away and just picked something. And we've seen now the value of really listening to that one. I mean, it's effectively their vote. So it's so worthwhile.
Yeah. Hugely so, and I think that that's something I've definitely seen through many Kickstarters, and even from like people who write campaign books to people who make miniatures and make board games. They do a lot of like backer creations or like backer polls to make sure that actually, you know, what they might have thought was leading the way actually. A business will always lead itself. I think that's amazing that you're doing it that way, and you're accepting content from people who want your product because it's your product and it's your story, and working with people who are fans of yours is incredible.
And I think it's fair, because I mean, we as creators, we ask for people's, you know, hard-earned money. They get a book back, but then it's fair to say sort of like, exactly what would you like to have in that book? Because, you know, we've written the adventure now, but the compendium, that's for you. So come on, don't be shy. And yeah, I really like that.
So you mentioned what else other people like. So this was the previous Kickstarter, Secrets of the Drow Trilogy, but we actually finally got to meet face to face at the UK Games Expo, and I don't know if you can see that, but they kindly signed it for me. So yeah, we got little smileys, yeah. But yeah, it was again a great book. So I'm just gonna promote all your other books now. But that's the thing with these books. They are so nice, very very well written. They are great adventures. If anyone is looking for something that's outside of Wizards because they're too nervous, they only buy D&D produced content, get out of your comfort zone. Pick up some other books, because you will not be disappointed. These are absolutely fantastic. Tove and Erik both live in the UK. These are printed and produced by Dryfruit RPG. They're pretty much the same as what you'd get from Wizards of the Coast anyway. It's a hardcover book with all kinds of content in there. Magical weapons. This is nearly a 200-page book. Everything is in there. Some background content, adventures, options, magic, weapon, everything. NPCs as well. So do shout out about these books whenever you've seen them. Now, we've talked about this before. When we talked about UK Games Expo, we've got Dragon Meet coming up. Are you yet going to take the dive into getting a table? Are you going to go Dragon Meet this year? Are you going to do something 2023? What's the plan?
Is there a plan? What's the plan?
What's the plan?
We're going to Dragon Meet. We're going to Dragon Meet.
Cool.
I don't know if we are ready to have a table. I think
I'll bring some more books to sign. That's fine.
We're letting it be there. I don't think we're gonna have a table. I'm not really ready to have a table. Like I just came out of this like Corona pandemic cocoon, sort of like hello world. So and it's really nice meeting people. But it's also a little bit intimidating with all of these people. There are so many of them. So yeah, no table this time, but we'll definitely be there.
I'm with you on that one. Coming out of the lockdowns and stuff, I've really struggled with big groups and with kind of being in crowds. So yeah, I fully appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'm also like really introverted to begin with, so the pandemic didn't help. But on the other hand, I mean, no complaints. Like a lot of writing and a lot of world building. So
That's
you know,
it, isn't
it's a trade-off, obviously.
We got a Baron Snowhand is in live chat. Thank you very much, Baron Snowhand. You've just subscribed for 17 months. Thank you very much. You just beat Maverick 2. Maverick 2, come on. you got to see if you beat 17 months now. So if you've just joined us, there's a giveaway for the best question asked. If you have a question about Tove and ERIK, about their business, Midnight Tower, their publishing side of things, about any of their books, not just about the latest Kickstarter, which is going back to the beginning, back to the future kind of thing, it's the best question. And you get some dice. I've got a picture of the dice, which I use the funny image. I just put it over Ian. There we go. That is the picture of the dice.
That's me.
It's funny. I only used to pick on Steve, and now I can pick on anyone else now. So there they are. They come embedded with little wolf heads. Absolutely gorgeous. There you go. Ian's back. So the best question will win a set of these gorgeous dice.
They are nice. They're really, really cool.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, obviously you said earlier with Dave about like people not wanting to leave the comfort zone of Wizards, and that is definitely a thing that I've seen, and I've backed a few other modules by other people, so like I'm very excited to back this one by you guys.
Oh, thanks.
However, with this module that you get, have you guys added any like classes, subclasses, races, monsters to your world that like we can then take to other modules or stat blocks or anything like that? Have you guys had like new creations?
So we will add a new monster that you can definitely take bring into your own world. It's based on Norse mythology, so it's called a skogsrå, which means something like forest fey creature. I don't know actually. Rå is a really old Swedish word, so I don't know what that means. Anyway, it's a sort of like creature. So it's often a female, and she will lure people into the forest, and then eventually she will kill them. So that you can put in any campaign if you like to, or just toss it into Barovia for no apparent reason. So things like that. I think if the puzzle and riddles are going to win for the stretch goals, you can add that to any campaign. You can obviously just pick and choose. So each adventure usually come with a new magical item, a new monster, and then legend and lore. So that's sort of like the standard in all of the adventures, so not just in one. So you get 3 of that in each book, in each of the trilogies. So you feel free to borrow and steal whatever you like.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I always like getting new content with new books, and I like being able to like take little snippets from somewhere, or like little story arcs or little items, and I think that's awesome that you've got that available.
Yes. And it's nice, and that's how the books are written as well. Like if you have your own campaign world and you just want to have like one mystery, just plonk it into your world, because it will kind of fit anyway. I mean, within reason, sort of like you might have to adjust a little bit. But yeah, so that's the general plan that you're supposed to sort of. We always write that like, so you can slot this into a campaign or play it as a one-shot adventure if you like. but you need to have access to, you know, mountains or a coastal region, because, you know, it's a big ship in a Prophecy of Nine Omens, and that would be hard without, unless it's a really large lake, that would work as well. But otherwise, it's hard if you're in a desert. So.
We got some chat from Maverick 2 going on as well. He's saying, am I right, Maverick 2? Are you saying you're in the Netherlands right now? Erik, whereabouts are you?
In Stockholm, Sweden.
There you go. So it's kind of not exactly too close, but close enough. You're not. At least you're not in the UK.
Slightly to the east.
Yeah.
I think England is closer to the Netherlands.
And Maverick goes on to say, what's the NPC you like the most in the trilogy without giving anything away? And I'm just thinking, hey, it's Dave. It's Dave. It's
a choice.
There's Dave Tanner right there. So just to plug that a little bit. So we literally just talked about this before we went live, and we talk about this every session, Maverick. So in all these fantasy books, you always get great fantastical names for all these characters in all these books. And
not this one.
Midnight Tower is no exception. But when you get to the starting town of Buckland, and you go into the tavern, because that's where all the new parties meet for the first time or get a drink, the barman comes over to you and he gets to know all your names, and then you might say too, "That's really nice, Mr. Bar owner person. What's your name?" He turns around and says, "My name's Dave." So Dave, the NPC, is there. It was never originally based on me, but I have now adopted that. And
we can change it, so it's going to be in the printed edition now.
There it is.
I'm taking that as mine. Not allowed to update it. You've got to keep Dave. You've got to keep Dave. And yes, there's Baron Snowhound says yes. There's always a Dave. And then there's Dave. Yes, of course.
Yeah, and it was meant as a sort of like, oh, we'll have that as a placeholder, and then we'll, you know, find some really cool, like, original made-up name, and then it just slips through the entire thing, and yeah, that's why we have a Dave. But I mean, it could be short for something really complicated and like a really fantastic.
Oh, for sure. Well, we all fall prey to that, don't we? We all we create a world, we create a tavern, we create somewhere, and, you know, the party's like, yeah, we go in, da-da-da, and you think they're going to go one place, and then the dice change, or they change, they go somewhere else, and like, they start chatting to someone, you're like, okay, I've got to make somebody up, and then they always ask for the name, and you're like, Bill?
Bob.
And then you try to add like a cool family name to make up for it, and it just becomes really weird.
Smith.
Yeah, I find but that's a big thing, and I saw that part of your Kickstarter as well was to have. Oh no, it was on your website, Midnight Tower. Actually, when I was looking on there, it was like PDFs of like Dragonborn names and dwarf names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's always useful. And obviously, Dragonborn stuck out to me because that's like my handle everywhere. And yeah, so I really like that you had little PDFs like that and like little names ready to go. And yeah, I like that your stories have that. But I do like that Dave is now.
It's canon. It's there. He's
after you.
No, I was just going to say his missus is called Rosie, so they're still fairly down to earth. But
that is short for my rules. So
okay.
So Rose is a nickname, and I think Dave is a nickname too.
So with your guys' world, obviously, like you have Faroe, which is this entire region, and this is set in Eastern Faroe. But do each of you have like a favorite location within your worlds?
Yes, I do. I admit it, I do. What about you, Toby?
Hey, go.
Yeah, my favorite location, to be honest, it must be Shieldsburg Castle, which is where the adventure before the stroke of midnight takes place, which is another mystery with seriously gothic overtones. Like you have overtones and undertones and just a general big fanfare of.
But it's because it's inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. Maybe we should add that.
Yeah. Very much so. That was the starting point for the whole adventure.
Wow.
So it's set in a sort of decay, not decayed, but slowly decaying castle, also isolated, and there's a range of very curious NPCs kind of trapped in that castle for various reasons. And the adventurers end up being there too. And when we created that particular castle, we started drawing a map, and then we decided to go full on Gothic.
Nice.
Full tilt. So there is, there's everything you can expect in a Gothic castle, except perhaps for the thing that you would really expect. And I'll just leave it there.
I was going to say, I won't delve any deeper because I actually want to go get that now. Cause I'm a big fan of like Gothic subculture, and I'm a big fan of especially things like the book like Strahd and anything that's like to do with kind of like that side of like horror telling and stuff. And I really enjoy that setting. So it's so easy to imagine that kind of like thematically enjoyable image, and to be able to like set a story in that within your own world, that's incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah, all of our murder mysteries are sort of inspired by a specific author. So we have the Lovecraft one, which is What Happened to Evie Ashwood, the Edgar Allan Poe one, which is Before the Stroke of Midnight, and then the one that isn't actually in print yet, but it's available as PDF, which is Old Wolf Inn, The Murder at Old Wolf Inn, which is Agatha Christie, and then the latest one, Unexpected Wedding Invitation, which is inspired by Jane Austen. So there's a little bit of a variation there.
Which also comes with the optional zombie. The zombie ending.
Well, I had to add that. So
yes.
Well, I didn't have
it. It was.
But
yes.
I wanted to. So.
P and Z. Yeah. I like that. So what about you, Tove? Have you got a favourite location within this faraway world?
I think I'm quite fond of well, it's not really in Eastern Faraway. It's up in the north. We played quite a lot near in a region called Castle Red. So there's like various castles around, and we played for a long time in Castle Red. So it's on the border to the Shadowlands and then rest of the Faraway. And that's an area that I'm very, very fond of. And it's more dwarven lore and more sort of history and things like that. But yeah.
I've got to ask as well, because you mentioned it before the stream and I need people to know about it. The Cat Tower in Winterhold. I don't need to know anything else. I know Dave doesn't like cats, but I am the lord of cats. I adore them. So I need to know more about that and what book I can find that in. And yeah, tell me about Winterhold and the Cat Tower.
So the Cat Tower in Winterhold. So there is this sort of like old mage called Octavia Dragonborn. She's mentioned. You don't actually get to know. You haven't met her in any of the books, but she's mentioned, and you find her books and a little bit sort of like this is sort of like Elminster character who sneaks around. And she, for a long time, she lived in Winterhold, and she had this tower where she conducted various somewhat dubious experiments. Some of them were in arcane nature, and she had a bunch of cats, and the cats sort of got influenced by this magic, so they are now highly intelligent, but smaller than a normal cat, so they are like size of teacup. So they're small and very intelligent. You can go to the tower, and you can actually talk to them if you bring a potion. So you have to drink the potion, you can speak with animals. You can ask them questions, and they will ask you questions in return. And some of them might be quite random. It's question or small favors. So some of it can be like, you need to go to this location and let out the dog from the doghouse and release it. Others are sort of like, so tell me, who is your best friend and who would you be willing to kill for? So a little bit more sort of obvious. And no one really knows the true intention of the cats and what they're after.
That's awesome. And so whereabouts in the world is that?
That's in Winterhold. You get to go to the Cat Tower in What Happened to Evie Ashwood.
Cool. So that's.
But you also go to Winterhold in Secrets of the Drow, so you can meet the cats in the tower there as well.
Yeah, it's been said in the taverns around Eastern Faraway that cats have agents everywhere.
Nice. I will set sail to the website after this and be picking up those books.
You're more than welcome.
We have the question in chat came up. This is not going to win the dice, by the way. This is not being entered. It does say, when does Dave die? in this adventure? Okay, that is not the best question. We were talking earlier about we're getting down to the last kind of 15 minutes, so we're gonna put in as much content as we can. But I've just kind of bookmarked this. I can't really show it on here, but these are an example of some magical weapons in some of the books. So we don't have the latest Kickstarter book to show off yet. It's not out yet. It's not finished. It's in a Kickstarter. But the books also come. Look at these gorgeous maps you get.
Oh, thank you.
So there's some maps in there, and look at this artwork. Wow. Boom. That is again. All of these books are stunning, fantastically well written, absolutely look beautiful, great to play. We will, something we've been talking to Midnight Tower about. We were going to do it this year, but then we knew that we were going to go back and redo the first adventure again. So we put it on hold. But once I get my grubby little hands on the latest Kickstarter book, we will be playing it. And the idea is to play through the series. So that will be one of the stories that we will be doing with a bunch of adventurers, brave adventurers as always. So do keep around for that. Man, I'm just reading chat. It's like, why not? Why is that not the best question? Well, no, it's not.
We did have someone ask how many Kickstarters we're doing next year, and we kind of completely ignore that question.
Oh, yes.
Maybe we should
Go for it.
So,
do you already have an idea? Do you have like the same amount every year, or are you going to increase the amount of pressure you put on yourselves?
We did 3 once during the pandemic, and 3 is too much. I think that is just too much. And I also had, I think I went 2 years without any holidays, and I work all the time. So that's why it's sort of like we have to have a balance with mental health. Yeah. But yeah, we are hoping to do 2. That's a general idea.
That's awesome. You're right about the balance with mental health. I know that if you're doing your own business, you will work every hour that the gods send you. But you do have to look after yourself as well. And I think for me, I've always used tabletop as a kind of therapy, and it's a way to escape, be people, say things that we don't get to say in everyday life. So and I love the fact that actually before this show, you actually mentioned to us that you're in Stockholm because you've travelled to play D&D with a group you have played with for 20 years. So that's incredible. I mean, is that like how your tabletop journey started that brought you to this point where you now have a company and you're bringing out products? Or, how did that all come about, and like how come it's still going on to this day?
I guess dedication. I mean, the group we're playing with here, because I'm here already and you two are joining me in a few days. It's just, we're all really keen on the world we've built together. And with this, we started playing in like the mid-90s. And then the world really started taking shape just around the beginning of the new, was that around 2000 something? And it's become a thing. It's like these things do sometimes. It's just a shared interest and dedication and willingness to take carved slices out of your life to get together and do this.
But I think it started with that we wanted to share the adventures so that we can publish on DM's Guild, so we could take the money and buy books. So that was the main sort of. And then we stumbled upon Kickstarter and it's like, let's do a Kickstarter. Erik's like, it's never gonna work. I was like, no, we should try. And then that worked, and it brought us, a lot of really wonderful people, wonderful backers. And then Erik was really poorly, and it's like, we should do a murder mystery. Come on. Erik was like, it's never gonna work. I was like, press yes. So that's when we did What Happened to Evie Ashwood, and that's pretty much where they started. So it's like in life, it's sort of like no, where I'm going sharp left. So
very much so. No, it's clearly the optimist right here. But it's.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it sound like
right.
the
It's true. I was astounded by the amount of support and interest in those adventures, and we over the years now we've been in touch with so many wonderful people, and we received so much fantastic comments and feedback about these books, and it's really helped us getting to where we are today and sort of steered us in a better direction with everything we're doing. So it feels collaborative in a way that it's
Yeah, it's something that we often write like, thank you so much, but I honestly really mean it. It's like it's amazing to see people backing us and backing the project, and we couldn't actually create this book without you. So it's really sort of like, thank you for helping us create this book together. It's not just, that's why I want the backers to be involved and decide on stretch goals and things like that, because I'm like, this is your book as well. I'm just a writer and I do some drawings, but you're helping me with this.
This is one of the things. So me and Ian did a show earlier in the week, and Ian mentioned he's similar to me. I buy adventure books to read them for the stories. I have so many adventure books that I just don't have enough lifespan in me to be able to run or play them all. They're just going to get buried with me, I think. But I love reading the stories, and in my head I have this party of my friends who I grew up with. I've been playing since I was 12. I'm old year now, but my whole life is revolved around storytelling and playing stories and adventures and doing good deeds and everything else. These stories here, we got Secrets of the Drow Trilogy, Rise of the Ice Dragons, a gorgeous cover there, and you got the map on the back. And actually reading through them, I really enjoyed the I was going to say Nine Omens. I really enjoyed this one because it was going to run almost a running against time to try to pick up these items. How did you play the game first, or did you write it and then was it made up of other things? Because each book has obviously a different theme, and all these books are available now. Just go to midnighttower.com or midnight-tower.com. Go check them out. Everything is available to buy. Fantastic. Again, drive-through RPG, printed, delivered to your door, or you can get the PDFs if you want to. Any format. Do they come in soft cover? Do they only do hardcover?
We do soft covers during the campaign. We don't have them in soft cover on drive-through actually.
I just opened the page. Look at that. Fantastic artwork. But these are great stories. Again, we're coming back to what we started at the beginning of the interview about. If you're into wizards, try to leapfrog into other things. These books are not going to break the bank, but they are adventures that you are going to remember. Now, Erik, you mentioned you wanted to shout out some more artists as well.
Oh yes, because we mentioned Alina Milari, who makes the NPCs, and we talked about Daniel, whose surname I'm going to inevitably mispronounce now, Kwasiska. I'm sorry, Daniel, if you're watching this story.
He's probably not watching it. He also does artwork for Diablo. I have no idea why he's sort of collaborating with us.
Yeah,
but we're really happy about it.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. We have Jana Sofia, who is drawing a variety of different items, who is marvelous. I don't know how she goes about to interpreting our Greeks into these beautiful artworks that she sends us. There is, the recent edition, whose name I'm going to look up in a second, is TOVE Lancaster, who is a fantastic map maker who produces the minute hand-drawn maps that you can find in most of our adventures.
Mm-hmm.
There is Chernik Oleksiy.
Chernik.
Yes, whose illustrations you will be able to see in the upcoming book. Who I've forgotten. Toby, help me.
You've forgotten me, but that's okay.
There's someone else. Hang on.
There's someone who sends to sit up in the tower at midnight drawing. So yeah, I do some of the artwork as well.
Okay.
You do a lot of the artwork.
Also, just to add in there that anyone who, especially for the Kickstarters, these books you have VTT suitable maps and tokens as well. You produce all of those.
And digital handouts. So if you want to play online, it was something again that we started during the pandemic to produce, mainly because a lot of people are playing online or didn't or they shouldn't play with others because they could have underlying illnesses. So that's something that we started with, and it's been really popular. So we do tokens and gridless maps, and then digital handles. And it's also been super popular with the especially unexpected wedding invitation. People have actually printed things and then use them during their sort of like weddings and stuff. I'm like, what? For real? Are you sure? So yeah, that's been popular.
Pretty cool. That's really nice that like somebody's special day like that, and they want this artwork and this creative you've had of your life is now part of their life forever.
I know, it's crazy. And if I think about that too much, I'm not sure, it's just every now and then you get these emails sort of like, I just want to tell you, I went to my friend's wedding, we played your adventure, and I'm like, I'm gonna tear up now. I'm definitely tearing up now. Someone else had played my adventure on their wedding. Are you sure? Is this a hoax? Who sent this email? So yeah, it's just amazing, and really, quite touched about that. So
If that's part of the dream, and like like if you play in a band and you sing a song and people sing back your lyrics to you, that's kind of like. Now you get that kind of dream. Do you have like a dream for yourselves for the future coming forwards with Midnight Towers? They're like, okay, well now we need to buy 10 acres of land and a house because we may as well go for the unachievable goals.
I don't really have any sort of goals like that. I feel very fortunate and happy where I am. Like I can do this full time, and it's a hobby and a dream at the same time. So I'm just generally I feel very lucky. I mean, it's hard work as well, to be honest, but it's no, I don't have. I feel like I should say something cool like, I'm planning to buy a castle, but I don't. So, maybe another cat. So that could happen.
That can happen. Definitely.
Definitely shows that you guys have a real passion for what you created and a real love for the game, and it shows in like just chatting to you and within the product that you guys are offering, especially for this Kickstarter. It's I love seeing passion like that. So
no, it's great fun, and it's being part of a community. I know that sounds kind of soppy, but it really is being part of a community, and knowing that other people will gather around a table and play our games. It's humbling, and I'm very thankful to be part of that whole sort of like journey and other people's life, even though I'm not there, but my books are there, so I'm technically there.
It's very good.
I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah.
And we're into. Sorry, go Eric, go.
I was just gonna say there's an example in the chat about how feedback from backers can be fantastic and have unexpected results. So there was when we put up a poll for, correct me if I'm wrong, if I remember this incorrectly, but we put up a poll for what to put in the compendium for our previous Kickstarter for Unexpected Wedding Invitation. And somehow a zombie invasion, a zombie apocalypse found its way in there. I can't remember exactly how, but I think it was a suggestion. I'm pretty sure it was came in. Like, okay, that's interesting. Let's do that. Turned out to be hugely popular. It's like, can we squeeze this into a book, the book itself, and do it justice? Probably not. However, let's make a separate mini adventure and publish that. And then we sort of made sure that everyone who's in the Kickstarter could go and download that. So if you so wish, you can play an Unexpected Wedding Invitation, which is a very romantic, very Jane Austen-inspired adventure, 6-way run a wedding, and you can have it end with an absolute zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
It was supposed to be just a small extra sort of like one-page alternative ending, and I was like, Eric, it's now 6 pages and I need a new map.
Keep writing. More zombies.
Keep doing it. We're down into the last few minutes, everybody. So we will be putting out a question to win. If you want to be in a chance to win these dice, look at the screen right now. Look at those dice. They have embedded wolf heads inside the dice. They're sunken into the side of the dice. They are absolutely gorgeous. If you want to win them, you need the best question. Okay, so ask questions now. I'm going to give you another couple of minutes, and that's it. and then we're going to wrap up the Q&A. So get in your questions now. Final questions. Go for it. I wanted to say we mentioned about what's the plan for next year, and you kind of say well, possibly 2 Kickstarters in a year. But what's next? Are you going to change the theme? We've had haunted houses, we've had murder mysteries, we've got drow dragons. What's next? What haven't you done yet that you really want to do? What can you tease? It's the teasing section. What's the tease?
Teasing section. I don't know. Should we? Erik, you get to tease.
No, you get to tease. Yeah, you know better what's next than I do. Because we have so many ideas that we are just discussing.
We have 3 different ideas to play around with. One is super secret, so we're not teasing about that, except telling the people that it's
that was a tease.
That's a tease.
It's a tease and a tease.
We're gonna do something. Yay!
And then I think we're definitely gonna write another murder mystery because I really enjoy writing it, and it's great fun. So, and it's also like just a single one-shot adventure. So I think we're gonna do a murder mystery. I'm also kind of working on a full campaign guide because that's something that people have asked about.
Yes.
So that sounded like I was really bragging. I'm sorry about that. But it's something that people have asked about, and something that I need to sort of keep track on things as well. So I write it down in a way, so we could just maybe write a big campaign guide for the entire Eastern Fairway.
We've got some questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah.
Maverick 2, back to the murder mystery thing. Are you considering a murder mystery in space?
I have not considered that.
So strangely enough, no, it's not come up. But what about a sci-fi spin-off? Like Midnight Space Station or something, you know?
I mean, to be fair, it's not, if you do the sort of Lovecraftian or astronomy.
Would a murder mystery on the astral plane qualify?
Or you can have aliens somehow. What's those slud creatures? They kind of, if they open Gale, you can add them. Do a sort of horror.
They can do you some damage, those slads.
Yes, they're nasty. So, but no, we haven't considered it. We are now.
Mind player to get and Spelljammer it up, sorted.
Yes. So, but no, I don't think so. We haven't thought about it, but who knows? No one knows.
And then Baron Snowhand, what is your favourite game to play that you would love to have written?
Oh, as in a system, like a rule system or adventure?
Either, yeah.
Yeah, probably rule set then. Toby, that one?
If I had the possibility, I would have loved to sort of be a fly on the wall, or even better, sort of get to decide Curse of Strahd. I really like that. That's sort of like open sandboxy and just sort of like goth galore, sort of. So yeah, I would definitely like to have been involved in doing something like that, which is why we wrote Before the Stroke of Midnight as a sort of compensation, I suppose.
I missed what yours was there, Erik. What was it that you said?
My what? Sorry?
What was it that you said? I missed that. It didn't quite come across my...
No, I was just curious if we were talking about rule sets or adventures. So if you mentioned Curse of Strahd, and it would be awfully bland of me to say Curse of Strahd 2, because that's what I would have done. So I'm going to say there was an adventure that we played many years ago called, I think it's called The Castle's Fulzir. You remember that one, Toby?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Where you get to choose in the end.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that ending. So.
That's the next book. There we go.
Was that for second edition or third edition? I can't remember. One of the older editions of Dungeons and Dragons. One of the adventures I DM'd, and one of the first time I encountered an adventure that where you, as a player, had to pick sides, which struck me as a wonderful way to just write an adventure. It's like it's the very opposite of being railroad. It's like, okay, so I need to choose an ally here. When you pick one, the other ones turn against you. Really, that was a huge influence on how I thought about dealing at the time. That's me.
We got a Cairo156 has swooped in at the end and asked, what literary influences do you think creep into your adventures besides Lovecraft?
Ooh, nice one.
We need to extend this for 20 minutes.
Exactly.
I can just talk about it. So,
Throwing out authors' names like dollar bill.
exactly. But I'm a big fan of old Victorian literature, so a lot of that will sneak in. And obviously, like Tolkien, I steal from, borrow from everything that I get my hands on. I also like Norse mythology, so I'll sort of sneak that into my adventures as well. So yeah, but a lot of Lovecraft, a lot of sort of Gothic influences tend to end up in my adventures. And then every now and then just random Terry Pratchett going like crazy cats in a tower. Yes, absolutely. ERIK is sort of like, what's happening here? It's like I had too much coffee that day. I don't know. So it's a mixed bag.
Very true.
So let's find out if that answers your question, Cairo. Right, we are at the end of the Q&A. Tove and Eric, do you have a question that you think deserves to win a set of dice? You can have a quick chat to each other if needed. But in the meantime, do check out their other stuff, midnight-tower.com. All their stuff is available via Drive-Thru RPG. They print it in hardcover. I mean, this one alone, this is the Ice Dragon Trilogy. This is nearly 200 pages of content. You get story, NPCs, background location, magic weapons. There's monsters in here, NPCs. And look at this. Oh, ooh. Beautiful artwork in some of these. Well, in all of these, actually. And you got fantastic maps. Magical weapons. I'm not sure if that's coming up on there. There we go. That's one of them. That was the most recent one. And where is it? I've got all these books.
There won't be more.
That was the one.
Books.
That was the one. And if you meet them, I would say if you pick these up and if you track them down, they're going to be at Dragon Meet. If they go to Dragon Meet this year, if you know where that is, bring your books. Ask them very nicely, and they'll sign it for you. They signed mine anyway. That was I'll do it again. It's like mine.
Absolutely.
So do go. Oh yeah, look at that artwork. It's fantastic. As we said, there's also VTT stuff as well. Tokens, maps. You can use them all. Look at that one. Look.
Oh.
So you get a bit of information in the back as well. I love all the extra info. The extra info really does add a lot of flavour to it. Spider Queen's lair, maps, look.
There's something about artwork and maps, like when I see them in a module book, that just gets me fired up.
Yep.
You might
that.
Yeah, mine did.
So we need a winner. Just to remind you, let's put it over Ian's face again because it's funny. There's a picture of some dice that you're going to be winning. Let's make it full screen. There you go. This is the winner of some dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get a whole set of 7. Ian's back. There he is. I love that. I cover his face up and then he's come back and he's still smiling. Who is going to win the set of dice? Over to you.
I think we should have. I tried to chat at the same time. That went really badly. So I think we should have 2 winners because I think we have 2 excellent questions here.
Okay.
That's my opinion. What do you think, Eric?
I agree.
Yes, you can present your winner and I can present mine.
Oh, yeah, divide and conquer. Well done. Okay.
Yeah.
Me and him both win.
I'm gonna say, I would pick K round 156 because you got good with the question about literary influences. Nicely done.
Well done, Cairo. We'll sort out email addresses and stuff like that, and then you can talk to Tove and ERIK directly, and they'll sort out shipping stuff.
And I'll give my award to Maverick too, who asked, "When does Dave die?"
No. No.
Obviously,
that was bound to happen.
That was. Look, I've adopted Dave. They're like, we can't have this. We'll just kill him off in the next adventure.
People wondering about him as well. So I mean,
look,
character
in every module.
it's gonna.
and just kill him every time.
No, don't do that. It'll be the case. It'll be the new added ending when zombie apocalypse attacks Dave's pub and he dies.
It started so well. It's like, yay, I'm an NPC, and now it's just murder mayhem.
Chapter 2, just gone. So thank you very much, Maverick 2. We'll sort out your email address somehow. We will be in touch, and we'll send your email address over to the TOVE and ERIK for both Maverick 2 and Cairo. Well done, congratulations, people! You have won a set of those gorgeous dice. Are they gonna? Do they have to wait until the Kickstarter's finished? When did the Kickstarter finish? When did the releases come out? March?
Well, I think we said March or February for the release.
Yeah.
I believe February.
And it's 30 days, so it's going to end. I should know this, but I think it ends on the 10th of November, unless I'm mistaken. So, but the dice is not the dice is the dice of the Lycan, and you will get them before the Kickstarter ends. So as soon as we have your emails, and your addresses, we will put them in the post, and they will come to you when they, depending on where you live, of course. So yes.
Cool.
They are stunning. They really, really are very pretty dice.
That's because it's been sitting on your face for a little while now.
Surely my beauty is only.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. You get a set of dice of the Lycan each. Well done. And I just saw there in chat, Dave of the Dead. If only. Let's make that happen somehow.
Nice.
Let's make that happen. TOVE and ERIK Jorgensen, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure. Again, I can't say it enough. I love reading your books. I've backed the current Kickstarter as well. I backed the last 2. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again at Dragon Meet. Thank you, Ian, for co-hosting.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And I'm quite literally kicking. I'm quite literally clicking back right now.
Oh, well done.
Yay! Thank you.
We got one. Right. Hope you had a good time, and if not, we'll see you again soon.
And thanks for having us.
Yes,
Thank you. Always a pleasure. We do every single Kickstarter. We'll be there. But yeah, we're looking forward to see you again in person at Dragon Meet. We'll buy you another cup of tea or a drink or whatever you want, whatever we can find. Let's play a game. Let's do that.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Let's do our game.
We should.
Oh, it'd be fun. Yeah. Right, we're going now. That's it. See you all. See you again soon. Cheers. Bye bye.